Welcome to Your Life, Your Way. I'm Jason Davis, and my co host Tina Shang is with us this morning. Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, everyone.
Hope everyone's having a great week so far. Hope you had a great weekend. Here in Tennessee, we are snowless, or in our section anyway, and we're very happy about that. Kids went back to school today after being out a whole week. Yeah, that's so rare here. But they timed it well with Martin Luther King Jr. holiday last Monday and got out 4 snow days. So they're all depressed this morning about having to go back to school. So this is Your Life, Your Way, brought to you by Independent Funeral Planning Alliance. In this show, we feature funeral homes around the country or anything funeral related to talk about how they serve their community and how important pre-need, pre-arranged funeral advanced planning is to them and the value that it brings to their community. And today we've got a special guest with some exciting news. Isn't that right, Tina?
Absolutely. I'm excited to have her on again.
Yeah, so we've had Sean Patterson on twice before, I think. Sean is a pre-need counselor, funeral director, and a public notary, and she does a few or 3 or 5 or 12 other things there in her funeral homes. North of Nashville, I think the main office is in the Springfield location, but they've got 5 locations up there north of Nashville. We'll let Sean tell you where they are, and then we'll move on to the exciting piece that she's wanting to share with you guys in just a moment. Sean, are you with us?
I am. Good morning.
There she is.
Good morning,
Sean. How are you?
I'm great this morning. How about you guys?
Fantastic. I am. I think Tina is.
I'm good.
Yeah. We were just talking about how happy we are that all the snow and ice is gone and how depressed all the little school kids are that they have to go back to school today.
Well, I know parents are rejoicing, but those of us who have to be at work, regardless of the weather, we're rejoicing that it's gone.
So, yeah. Safe driving, peaceful, easy, fun, and relatively warm, right? Yesterday was awesome.
60 some odd degrees. I'll take it every day.
We just got out and rode around with the windows down and loved that for January. Typical Tennessee weather, of course. And speaking of Tennessee, Sean, we told the viewers a while ago that you wear about 12 different hats there at Austin and Bell Funeral Homes, and that the main office is in Springfield. But we were going to let you tell about the other locations, where they're at, and just a little bit about yourself, if you would. We told them we've had you on twice before. But your shows are always excellent, and people are interested. I know the folks there north of Nashville are going to love getting to know you a little bit more. So where are all your locations, Sean, and how many different hats do you wear there at Austin and Bell Funeral Homes?
Well, I take too long doing hair, so I don't wear any real hats. But the truth is, I do the pre-planning for Austin and Bell. I've been here 4 years, and but this is my 30th year in the pre-need arena. Have obviously made my career out of it, and cannot think of a profession I'd rather be in.
That means you started when you were 6 years old.
Oh, yes, you're so sweet. The check is in the mail. But no, I had an opportunity to come to work for Bob Bell in this wonderful organization that's nearly 200 years old. Started in 1842, and lots of history, and we have had the privilege of taking care of thousands and thousands of loved ones over, like I said, nearly 200 years, and just so proud to work for this group. We do have 5 locations. My office is in Springfield, Tennessee, and we have 4 other locations: Pleasant View, Greenbrier, White House, and our newest location is in Hendersonville. And so we're family owned and family operated, and just love helping folks. And my mission is to help everybody get their wishes taken care of in advance.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you guys have a big footprint there in North Central Tennessee. I'd say you serve probably down into Rutherford County, all the way up into southern Kentucky, probably,
Yes,
and east and west, pretty wide.
that is correct.
And
People may have moved away from home, but they ultimately want to come back home. So we take care of folks all over the state, and so we're here when a family needs us.
excellent. And speaking of serving families, it's my understanding that, and the reason behind this show today, that Bob Bell told you he wanted to serve as many families as possible in North Central Tennessee. And you guys set out to create some new tools, a new tool that all those folks at home could use to help them understand better what a funeral might cost. Is that right, Sean?
That is correct. In the age that consumers are in, they want to get information ahead of time. And there's literally information on the internet about anything and everything that you can think of. Funeral homes, for some reason, though, have been slow to have prices and services and merchandise online. But Bob Bell has been wanting to do this, so we now have a online calculator
Oh,
that
wow.
families can go onto our website. I'm sorry, onto our Facebook. It will shortly be on our website, but on our Facebook site, and can basically kind of walk through the very simple steps, whether it's funeral or cremation. And then it will give them an idea of what a general idea of what a funeral or cremation might cost. Now, with that said, there will be a few other variables that a family member would have to discuss with me for me to give you a complete real world estimate. But this kind of gives folks, it helps them answer a few questions about what a service or cremation might cost.
Why don't we walk through one actually here for the viewers to kind of
I
get a feel of it? I saw someone on here earlier comment, good morning, something another. So good morning to you, sweet lady. Thank you for tuning in. So this is a funeral cost calculator, and I'm looking on your Facebook page, Austin and Bell Funeral Home, and there's actually a tab on the left side of the screen. You know, you've got the tabs that say home and about and locations. All your different locations are there under that tab. Also, I see post photos, videos, but the fourth tab is funeral cost calculator. So that's where this thing is easily located on the main page of the Austin Bell Funeral Home. So we're going to click on that real quick. And as Sean said, I played with it a little bit prior to the show. It's an estimator, so that's not an exact cost, but it will give all you folks an idea of what your final celebration would cost, or if you wanted to do one for your parents or for your spouse or children or whatever. This is going to give an estimate of what that funeral would cost, right, Sean?
Exactly, and the whole calculator is very, very user friendly. It asks some basic questions to kind of get you going in the right category, and then you choose the item or the service that is what you're wanting. And as you go through that, it will ultimately give you an estimated cost for what you have selected.
Okay, so I'm going to pretend to be someone that's interested in using Austin and Bell, and I'm going to walk through it here. So question number one, or option number one, allows you to choose between traditional burial and cremation. And Sean, you're welcome to chime in at any time if you've got thoughts or anything that would be of value. So I'm going to choose traditional burial. Because that's what still a majority of us Americans are choosing for our final celebration. It gives so many wonderful options here, I see. So the next option would be choosing the type of funeral service. What type of service would you prefer? Prices vary by travel distances within 50 miles of funeral home. So we have an option here to choose a service with visitation the evening prior, and that's probably the most traditional, most common throughout history, right, Sean?
It is. That is what most people refer to as a normal funeral. And let me just put this disclaimer. A lot of people have family members and friends that are far and wide across the country, even across the world. And I always let a family know that the visitation will not begin until the family wants the visitation. So it allows friends and family members to get here. Sometimes it's not as easy as getting a plane ticket the same day. So we start the visitation when the family wants us to, and that's again what the majority of our families opt for is a traditional visitation, the afternoon and evening before, the next day having visitation, then the funeral and going to the cemetery.
Yeah. I'm 46 years old and live in rural South Tennessee, South Middle Tennessee. And I'm just going to tell you, in my 46 years, I'm going to say 97% of the funerals I've attended have been this traditional funeral with visitation the evening prior. So I'm going to choose that because that's what my family has done over the years.
Okay.
Next option is to select a casket. Some folks, I'd say, get a little nervous at this point because, caskets are not something we talk about often, but you've got a nice selection here with a good description and even the prices by them. So you can even see what casket cost is on this computer. I like that and appreciate you guys, Sean, being transparent to your community.
Well, Jason, ultimately, there's two types of caskets. If you and I were meeting face to face, that would be one of the things I would explain to you is the type of caskets. And ultimately, there's metal and wood, and the prices are specific to the material. And I venture a guess that if you were to count all of the different designs and styles of caskets that are in creation, you'd be well over 20,000. So this is just a very small sampling of the caskets that we show. That does not mean we are limited by any means. So if you wanted, I know you were a UT fan. So if you wanted a UT casket, we can certainly get that. So, but just for
these 5 models, 6 models, 7 models on here are just a small representation of what you can get. And I'm sure, Sean, that you guys use a very reputable casket manufacturer.
Yes.
And you guys only use the best for the families that you serve.
Batesville Casket is our casket manufacturer.
Awesome. Got a warehouse right here in Tennessee, probably halfway between me and you, as a matter of fact.
That's right, Manchester, Tennessee. And they are the largest manufacturer of caskets. And we have a warehouse within about an hour from us, so we can get any of their products usually within a couple hours.
Nothing like American-made products, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
I've seen some funeral homes advertise some crazy low prices in the past, and me being a curious guy and a tire kicker, I would call and check on them. It always includes a very, very, very cheap casket that I wouldn't want my loved one in. So I appreciate you guys offering high quality merchandise. So for my scenario, Sean, I'm going to choose this 20 gauge Revere Silver. Now, what does that mean? 20 gauge? Is that like a shotgun, or like what does that mean?
Well, in the casket world, the gauge actually talks about the thickness of the metal. It takes 20 sheets of metal to equal an inch. There are thicker caskets. An 18 gauge would be a little bit thicker. They do make a 16 gauge, which again is an even heavier metal. And going up the category in the metals, there's stainless steel, there's copper, there's bronze. And again, depending on the price point that you're wishing to stay in, we have caskets in all price ranges. My job is not to sell anyone anything. My job is to help people understand their options so that they can make the best decision for themselves and for their family.
For sure. And thank you for that. You're really a consultant more so than a salesperson. You don't sell anything. You're a
We
consultant,
don't.
helping folks understand their options and giving them their information that they need to make the best decision for themselves.
Well, and the
So I'm
Revere Silver, didn't mean to walk over you there,
no, it's okay.
but the Revere Silver casket is also a gasketed casket. And what that
Oh,
means,
nice.
Jason, is that it's considered protective. I'm not allowed by FTC to say uh, sealed, but it
Mhm.
actually means that the casket prevents any kind of moisture from coming into the casket. Some
Ah,
folks, that's extremely important to in terms of protecting their loved one. Some people, maybe not so much. But when you hear the term gasketed versus non gasketed, that's what that means. There's a one piece rubber gasket in certain caskets that would be identified to the consumer, and that just
cool.
indicates that it is a protective gasket.
Thank you for sharing that. Now,
Sure.
for me as a consumer, I'm not bothered by whether it is or not, but I would want that protection so that my family has peace of mind and is more comfortable with that.
Correct.
So I want to protect my family, and that's what this whole thing is about. And the biggest value to pre-arranging the final celebration is removing that burden from your family. Is that correct, Sean?
It is. That is the number one reason, Jason, that people pre-plan is that they want to take that burden emotionally, financially, and any other means off of their family members. The worst time to make funeral arrangements is the day that something happens. Unfortunately, the one thing that's going to happen to all of us, people tend to want to put off. Um, Through different excuses. They don't have the time. They're too young. They're not going to die. I've heard any kind of excuse that you can imagine over the years to not take care of it. But ultimately, if you don't take care of your arrangements, someone in your family will have to come in on the worst day of their life and make all of the tough decisions. And
Mhm.
we have long since been in the mode that you can do all of this in advance. The only thing that we cannot document ahead of time, Jason, is the date of a death or the
Mhm.
date of a future service. Everything else, even down to the pallbearers, can be documented. But the biggest things when people think about their funeral is what kind of casket, what kind of vault. And so that's why this online calculator will help families kind of get an idea of what it's going to run.
Good deal. Speaking of vaults, that's the next choice here.
Mm-hmm.
Option number 4 says select a vault. And let me see if I'm right. There is a law that says you have to have a vault, right?
No. In
No.
Tennessee, there is no law. That's one of the myths is that you have to have an outer burial container or what most folks refer to as a vault. And a vault basically is what protects the casket from the weight of the earth. Depending on the cemetery, Jason, that you're planning or your loved one is going to be buried in, they may have a requirement to have an outer burial container. If it is the Davis family cemetery and it's the Davis family that does the upkeep and the maintenance on the cemetery itself, then there may not be a requirement to have an outer burial container.
Gotcha.
That's why we have the option on the online calculator to choose none. So if
Okay,
you
good.
don't have to have one, in another scenario, in the same vein, if you were going to be entombed in a mausoleum, the mausoleum crypt is your vault. So you would not need a vault in addition to that.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. You didn't have to go there, but you did anyway, and I think that really shares your passion to serve families and present them with all the options and information. So I appreciate that.
Well, I
For
want to
this,
just let me just say this too, Jason,
sure.
is that my job is to um, make sure that you get what you need. We do not uh, have a family purchase something that they don't need or is not a requirement. Again, if your cemetery, if it's a memorial gardens where they require that, then it's not us requiring it, it's your cemetery.
Mhm.
And if you're going to be buried there, then that's the requirement. So Our job is to make sure that we know what you need, and we'll explain any kind of requirements. So we don't sell you something that you don't need.
Cool. I like it. I like it. I'm going to choose this Continental here,
Okay.
just because it's got looks like it's got a name and there's some information that can be on the lid there. So I like that. Next option is obituary allowance. Me being a dude, I could say I don't need an obituary. That's not necessary. But me being a dad and me being a husband, I want to do an obituary for them so that the community, their family, their friends, their coworkers know that I passed away, so that they can embrace my family and help them through the dark times for sure. So I do want an obituary, not necessary to have a picture, I think, but I want to get that information out there so that my family can be embraced by the community.
Okay. Now, the sections that we're in now, going into the obituary, these are what we call cash advance items. These are items that are third party that the funeral home, would have to pay to an outside vendor. The services and the merchandise are something that the funeral home controls the price. The notice in the newspaper could vary. So when I tell you that there's some variables, if you want basically a biography in your obituary that's going to be 2 or 3 pages, that's only going to be an estimate. It may change at the time of death and could be much more than what originally thought.
That's fair. That's fair. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see, number 6, flower arrangements. And this is an estimate also. And I guess this is more for that. What's that piece of flower that's on the casket, actually? What's that called?
There are several names, but the pall, P-A-L-L, is what is commonly used. Casket spray, casket saddle, but it's the floral arrangement that is on top of the casket.
Okay, I got you. And looks like there's 4 different levels here, and that's just an estimate also. So I'm going to go mid-level here, and I'm going to choose $300 for that. The next one, this is kind of strange to me, an honorarium for clergy officiant. So you mean they get paid? Is that right?
They do. Typically, that is something that the family pays to the clergy, the pastor, whoever is actually conducting the service, saying a few nice words, even if you don't deserve them. Jason, they may have to make up a few things for you. But yeah, it's considered just a gift. Maybe it's something that the pastor would use for a discretionary fund. But a couple $100 seems to be the going rate at this point.
I'm sure those. Sorry, Sean. I'm sure those guys and girls, they have bills to pay too, and they have busy schedules. And I'm sure preparing for a funeral service takes some time out of their already busy schedule as well. So I get the idea of offering them some kind of gift. I totally understand that.
Consider the fact that they're going to usually meet with the family. They may have been bedside at the hospital with the person who's passed away. They will probably have a meeting with the immediate family to discuss what type of service they want the minister to conduct. Then the minister is going to attend the visitation, of course, be here for the funeral. And then they usually go in their own vehicles to the cemetery. So you're looking at possibly 5 different visits with that one family. So it's a really encouraged courtesy to the family. So, but that's something that we can put on our contract, and we can write a check to the minister for the family just as a courtesy.
Very nice. Thank you for that education session here. So number 8, we move into cemetery fees. Now, what is that? Why would a cemetery charge a fee?
Well, again, depending on the cemetery space, the cemetery will have an opening and closing charge. That is essentially the digging of the grave. And depending on the cemetery, again, they may have their own set of groundspeople. That is going to be a set price. If it's an outside cemetery, a church cemetery, a family cemetery, then we usually have to call in to a grave digging company to do the opening and closing for us. So again, these are just a good round estimate of what costs are in this area. Again, it's an estimate only. Depending on your situation, it could be more or less.
Cool. Thank you for that. I'm just gonna throw out $900 in there. I think that'll be a nice estimate here.
Okay.
And I think something looks neat at the bottom. It shows us how far along we are in the calculator process. So we're just past the midway point in this. So this thing is very detailed, and I appreciate that. And I'm going to take a guess here. We're halfway through, just from studies I've done and looking at prices 1 through 8. I'm going to say my total is going to be right at 15 grand. That's my guesstimate. So let's see how it shakes out. All right, okay. Number 9, monument marker allowance. So this is, you can even put money back for a headstone. Is that what that is?
Headstone, a marker, memorial. Again, the cemetery that the family is utilizing may have restrictions. Memorial gardens typically have the flat bronze markers, but if it's an older cemetery, a church cemetery that allows the uprights, then again, the prices vary widely depending on what the consumer is wanting.
I'm with you. So I think just for this exercise, I'm going to skip that piece and we'll deal with that at a different time. Okay, okay, now it's asking for my name, and I'm going to key that in real quick. Okay. Email address here real quick. Sure that so my estimate can be sent to me. And then my phone number in case there are any issues or whatever. It's asking for address. It says that's optional. That's cool. I may not feel comfortable or might think that you're going to show up on my doorstep as soon as I finish this. So I'm not that I wouldn't want you on my doorstep, but I'm not ready for a salesperson and you're not a consultant to show up on my doorstep. And I'm sure you wouldn't. Knowing you wouldn't do that. You'd call or email to make sure that they understood the estimate probably.
Absolutely.
And see if they want to move forward with anything or more questions. All right, so address was the last thing it asked. Oh, wow. Option 15 here says, would you like to fill out our free online pre-planning form? Now, what is that, Sean?
Well, the pre-planning form basically allows you to provide more information specifically about what you're wanting, and it allows you to gather specifics that your family will need if something and when something happens to you.
Gotcha. Very neat. So all in one right here. And I'm going to, for the sake of time for the show, I'm going to choose no, and we'll move on here. And it says submit. So I'm going to submit here. We'll see. Oh, wow. Holy cow. My guess was 15 grand. And your calculator estimated my funeral plan to be only $10,960. Wow. That's awesome. I feel good after doing this process. Even if I stopped right there, I would feel good because I would have taken a step forward in removing this burden from my family. Right?
Well,
go ahead.
Exactly. Well, and that's about the average. Now, funerals can be a little less. They can certainly be a lot more depending on the merchandise that is chosen. Some families still feel the need to have a second day of visitation and then the funeral on the third day. Again, there's variables as far as a firm estimate, and that's why we encourage if you're really wanting a real world estimate, that you need to meet with me, set a time to meet with me. I promise it's just the facts. There's no obligation whatsoever. Just learn the information. If you went to an attorney and spent the time with an attorney, they're going to charge so much an hour. My information, 30 years worth, is free to you, and that's what we're here to do. So Bob Bell has me helping families full time.
I love it. I love it. And you're not just a pre-planning consultant. You're a certified pre-planning consultant through the is that
NFPA,
NFDA? Cool,
the National
National Funeral
Funeral
Directors
Directors.
Association. Wow.
Mhm.
So you're really the expert in your field there in northern central Tennessee. And
Mhm.
this calculator is fantastic. I can't believe that that technology is out there. Certainly appreciate you sharing it with your community. Now, once I got my total there, a little over $10,000, surprised me. My guess was 15, so that was a nice
Mhm.
discount, if you will, or a lower price. I clicked on finished, and it took me right to your website. So I think that's cool too. So great, great, great technology.
Mhm.
And I think if I check my email, that might be in my email probably already, or it may take a little time for that to get out. But yeah, so Tina is putting up the link to that calculator up there now for the viewers in the show, and don't forget that that is always on the Austin and Bell Facebook page on the left side of the screen. Yeah, there's the website, beautiful website. Thank you, Tina. Fantastic technology that you guys are offering here to your community to make it easier, right? This is to make it easier to plan ahead.
That's right.
And man, that is such a fantastic gift to your community. Probably cost you some bucks, but well worth it. And part of Bob Bell's instructions to serve everybody possible in that northern central Tennessee area. Love
Well,
it.
there is not a single advantage, Jason, to waiting for a death to occur. Not one. And the more information we can put out to the consumer ahead of time, that's our goal. And I'm so excited that Bob wanted to do this, and we have this now available. Again, if you're shopping for a new car or some new shoes, most people go online. And this is an opportunity for families to be able to get this information free of charge. If they have questions, that's what I'm here for.
I'm impressed. I love the price I got. If I lived in your area, I would come to see you to get that locked in and
Mhm.
signed off on. Tina, any thoughts about that calculator? That's fantastic stuff.
No, I just think that it's, for most people who've never had to deal with a funeral before, they have absolutely no idea what to expect when they go in, especially in terms of pricing. And so
Mhm.
I think this eliminates some of that sticker shock that we have.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Because, with most everything else that we purchase, we can at least find some general idea of what the costs are. But with funerals, that's just not true. It's really
Mhm.
difficult to find that out unless you've gone through the process before with a loved one.
Correct.
I think that says a lot about Austin and Bell. Also, to be transparent like that says that they're confident in the way that they're serving families. There's nothing to hide, and they want to earn your business. They want to earn your business out there, and I love that. I dig that. When I have to really hunt, like Tina was talking about, when I really have to hunt hard for the information I need, that kind of sends red flags up in my mind, I think. So, thank you guys for being transparent and offering this technology.
Well, we're excited, and again, if they will go to our Facebook page, we're going to be working to get it on the website very quickly, hopefully the next day or so. But again, they can give me a call. Tina, I don't know if you have my phone number, but if you can push that, if someone wants to reach me, feel free to give me a
There it
call,
is.
and be happy to set a time and discuss wishes for yourself or another family member. Again, no cost, no obligation, just the facts.
And they can also hit that message button on the Facebook page. That'll be a good way to
Yes.
communicate with Sean also. Very easy. Messenger is crazy popular now. And that's an easy way to communicate with Sean also if you don't want to call her or you're in a situation, an office setting where you can't really talk, but you can type.
Mhm.
Shoot her a message through Facebook also. Sean, gosh, we've been going almost 35 minutes now. This show always gets away from us because it's just so interesting and neat, especially when we get a new product like this on and we get excited about it. Thank you for being on the show today, Sean, and we want to see a lot of people using this calculator just simply for the fact to take that small step forward toward protecting your family.
That's it. That's it.
It's a good icebreaker. If we see in this industry a lot that there's maybe one person in the family, usually the wife, that's ready to do some pre-planning if the husband's hesitant. And it's not always the husband, but if you have one person that's hesitating, this is a good way to kind of break the ice, because you can do it from the comfort of your home. There's no kind of pressure or anything to go any further if you don't want to, but at least gets the conversation started.
Exactly.
Love it. Folks, go see Sean Patterson at Austin and Bell Funeral Homes. Give her a call or shoot her a message on Facebook Messenger. We appreciate you tuning in today to Your Life, Your Way, brought to you by Independent Funeral Planning Alliance. I'm Jason. I'm out of here. Tina, any parting words?
That's all. Thank you all for joining us. And Jason and I will be back here with Your Life, Your Way, same time next Monday.
And y'all have a great week.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.